Hopefully he gets back in there. Hopefully, probably not. Probably that's a season-ending injury.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, Avery, Wayne, and Jeff. Teaspoon, you can free to stay or go or.
I'll hang around for a few minutes.
Okay.
Know how busy you are.
Wayne and Jeff. Do you guys think that the Clippers are contenders or pretenders? In a word, and then a why.
Contenders.
I'm gonna say pretenders.
You think
Avery,
so?
contenders or pretenders?
I'm going with contenders.
Okay, and Thomas, are the Clippers contenders or pretenders to win the NBA championship?
Pretenders.
So we got 50-50. Jeff, care to debate your point?
I say contenders because I think after, the Wizard. Let's take the Wizards from last year. We'll talk about Paul Pierce. He did hit that really important shot that clinched them into another game into the playoffs last year. And I know Paul Pierce isn't his true self this year. I know he lost his shot, but I think just his voice in the locker room, that veteran experience, I think that'll help them move farther into the playoffs and hopefully win the championship. I'd love to see him do it. Doc and CB3 and Blake Griffin and DeAndre. DeAndre chose to stay with the Clippers again this year because he feels like they have the potential to win a championship. I think they can do it. And that fan base surrounding them, they're a legit team. Tough to beat right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that. Spec, you have something to say?
No, Chris Paul has two dunks against the Washington Wizards in the first half. That's
Legendary.
that's that
didn't look like a dunk.
that's crazy.
That's close.
Is that
a dunk.
three or
That's
two?
a dunk. That's two. He has two. He had a breakaway one.
And I agree with
Yeah, go ahead, say your point, and then me and good old Thomas Teaspoon will break it down.
And I agree with Jeff. If you look in the month of December right now, their field goal percentage is a little shaky, but I think they can turn it around. In past years, they've been shooting a really great field goal percentage. At the beginning of this season, they were shooting pretty much 50% from the field goal, so I think that's a really good bet. They're leading the league in rebounds. Not leading the league, but they're at the top. And assists are pretty good, too, as they pass the ball with extreme carefulness. They have one of the best coaches, Doc Rivers. Mm-hmm. They have Chris Paul facilitating. But the only problem is that I see is that they don't really have the experience that they need in the playoffs.
Yeah. Chris Paul made it to the playoffs once back in his New Orleans days.
And they never made it to the Western Conference Finals. So if they do make it, it's going to be a huge test for them to see if they can actually finish it. But I think they could go to the finals and maybe win a championship.
And unfortunately, I'm sorry. Blake Griffin is out right now, so hopefully he recovers soon. He's also on my fantasy team. I need him back. But besides that,
yeah, I'm gonna give you Avery and Jeff 2 words why the Clippers will not win a championship. Lance Stevenson.
Lance Stevenson.
He does have a point.
Lance Stevenson right now.
AKA Team Cancer. Shout out to Zach.
Connor Kenny, just letting you know.
Team Cancer. Lance Stevenson.
Lance Stevenson, right now he's averaging about 42% from the field goal
Not
and about
bad.
35% from the three-point percentage.
That's pretty good.
He's averaging about, for minutes per game, not too good.
Read his points per game.
Points per game right now. It is a very low 4.4.
All right. Little embarrassing, quote unquote all-star, right? No. Moving on. All right, so we're saying that the Thunder, contenders, Clippers, contenders. Can we say that can we all agree that the Spurs and Warriors are contenders easily?
Oh,
Jeff is saying no. Which team?
I know. I'm saying yes. I think they're both contenders.
Okay.
I think it's funny because the other day I realized Mr. Coleman was telling me that the Spurs have only lost 5.
Whoa, timeout. Taj Gibson starting at the goddamn 3.
He's on my team.
Is he really?
All right, I don't know what's going on here, but all right, back to you, Specs.
What was it? Oh, so Mr. Clement Avery was telling me that the Spurs have only lost 5 games this whole season. That's a surprise to most fans because most fans have been focusing on the Warriors only like 1 loss. So that's crazy to me that, I mean, nobody's really paying attention to the Spurs' really good season so far. But I do think both of them are contenders for sure.
All right.
Right now, in the month of December, they're shooting a high, the San Antonio Spurs, shooting a high 50.3% from the field goal, and their highest field goal percentage scorer is Tony Parker. He's shooting actually in the 53% range for the season right now.
All right. Moving on to maybe the not so obvious teams. The Cavaliers, we all say are contenders, obviously. How about the Miami Heat? Thomas, do you like the Miami Heat here?
I think the Miami Heat are pretenders. And I'll tell you why, guys. To be a contender, you need great pieces all the way up to the GM, all the way down to the practice squad, and the Heat just don't have that.
Where? Which part of that do they not have?
Oh, just everywhere, here and there.
I think there's a lot of holes.
There's a lot of holes in that puzzle.
And LeBron James was the glue, and now he left.
Yeah, they're missing puzzle pieces, and they're only going to lose more puzzle pieces as time goes on.
That's a valid point. I'm gonna say they are contenders because Dwayne Wade has been playing vintage. Chris Bosh has been balling.
Yeah.
Hassan Whiteside is the question mark. Can he perform at a high level through the playoffs? Wayne, do you have anything to say about the Miami Heat?
One word. Bench. That'll be all.
All right.
Bench. The Miami Heat have no bench.
Gerald Green, Amari Stoudemire.
Gerald Green is starting when Dwayne Wade is out, which is a lot.
He's played like almost every game this year, bro. All right.
So you
Last segment of the show. Are we going to do? We're going to say, what are you going to do with this guy? Keep him or trade him away? And this is not what we think they're going to do. It's what we think they should do if we were putting ourselves in the position of the GM. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask all 3 of you guys for your opinion, and I'll give my opinion on one player's name, and you will say one word, trade or keep, and at the end, one person will be able to break it down. All right. If you are the Chicago Bulls, keep or trade Derrick Rose. Jeff.
keep.
Who's number 7? He's a ball hog.
Thomas. Trade or keep Derrick Rose if you're the Chicago Bulls.
Trade.
Avery.
Trade.
I say trade. Jeff, why do you say?
I'd keep him just because, I mean, I feel without him, they still have, a decent bench point guards, but I think they still, look, as we just see this defensive play by D Rose here, blocking Kyle Lowry's shot. I think as injured as he was and how he had to change his whole game around, I think he can still help them win solid games. I know the Bulls have been known for their defense, but I think keeping D Rose, as much as it'll cost a little more money, and the risk of injuries, I think in the end he is, the glue to this team.
I'll tell you this right now. I'm going to say if you're the Chicago Bulls and you're looking at free agency and you see a guy like Rajon Rondo pop up,
True.
would you rather sign Rajon or would you rather have Derek?
I would rather have Rajon Rondo.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say for that, you should say trade.
Yeah. I think I'd actually change it to trade. This is more Jimmy Butler's team now. I heard, the guys on NBA TV talk about this, that maybe playing in your hometown was a little too much for Derrick Rose. Maybe, he had to live up to so much, and maybe the pressure was bugging him. I don't think that's the actual case, but maybe a new atmosphere would help him and benefit him a lot.
Well, in the home games, he's averaging 15 points per game. In the road games, about 12.8. His field goal percentage doesn't really fluctuate as he moves from place to place, except for in the wins and losses, where in the wins, he's shooting a 15.4% from the three-point, and then on the losses, he's shooting a 26.5% from the three-point. So that's interesting to see how his inconsistency is affected between wins and losses and home and road.
True. Derrick Rose is definitely, a star player in the league. But, I mean, you got to look at injury history. He's been doing fine this year, but I think they can upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next player on the list, Marquise Morris. I think we can all agree trade.
Yep. Trade.
All right. This one you're going to have to think about. Carmelo Anthony with the Knicks. Jeff.
Man. Well, I mean,
Trade or keep?
Last year if you asked me this question, I would say trade. But now the Knicks actually look like a basketball team. Porzingis, I doubted him, but he's proven to be a legit rookie right now. Mr. Clement, I know you don't like rookies. But, I mean, Carmelo fits this team perfectly. You need a star at this point. But last year, without Porzingis and with, so many losses, I think the worst, winning team in the league last year, I would have said trade. But now I say keep.
True. Next on the list. Actually, no, let's go around. Teaspoon. Keep. If you're the Knicks, do you trade or keep Carmelo Anthony?
Well, I kind of agree with Jeff. They're looking good, so maybe they can make a little bit of a playoff run with Carmelo. But if they don't get anywhere this season, I think they should trade him and then just start overhauling their team top to bottom, try to get where they want to be.
All right, Avery.
3 years. We've been waiting 3 years for the Knicks to turn it around. They have one of the best shooters I've ever seen, yet they still can't win. I say get rid of them. Pick up. You could get so many good players. You could probably get like a 4-player trade. Start doing some switches. Get into the rebuilding process. You can't do a rebuilding process if you're not really rebuilding around Carmelo Anthony. You're just bringing in better players. You're not really replacing. You're not replacing anybody. You need to go out there and rebuild from the bottom. If you're starting out with Carmelo Anthony on your team, you're not starting from the bottom. You don't know where to start because he was injured last year, so they didn't really give them a chance to even rebuild. So they're behind by 1 year. I say get rid of him. Stop playing by his schedule and start playing by your own.
Very good, Mr.
I say, and as a native New Yorker, I really think they should trade him. And it pains me to say this, but Carmelo Anthony is my favorite player in the league outside of Kobe Bryant, and I think they need to move on from him. So, next, Hassan Whiteside, Miami Heat. Before we get on this is the last one for the day, and then we'll be done. Hassan Whiteside. The Heat can only pay $8 million next season. I think we can all agree that Hassan will be making more than $8 million next year, which means he won't be doing it in Miami unless they clear some major space, which it doesn't look like they're going to do. So, do you think the Miami Heat should trade him? And if they should, we talked about this on the last pod that you guys weren't here. Should they do that trade for Dwight Howard? Jeff, go, yes or no?
Was this the what? Oh, okay. I think they should, because I feel like he's going to leave anyway. A lot of teams are going to offer more money.
Sacramento
for sure. I know the Celtics are looking at a big.
Yep.
They were trying to get DeMarcus, Kenneth Reed. I mean, either way, he's out next year.
Okay, so I say you make the trade for Dwight.
Yeah.
I mean, Dwight to that team would be stellar addition.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially, you could add Ty Lawson to the mix. Maybe Ty Lawson works out better in Miami. Yeah, Wayne, what's up?
How long is Dwayne Wade's contract?
1 year.
1 year.
1 year.
So they got to pay Dwayne Wade next year again.
Yeah, they do. And he's going to want 20 plus.
He's going to want 20 plus or else he's gone. And so, is Dwayne Wade going to leave? And in that case, they can keep Hassan Whiteside and pay him more money? Or is Dwayne Wade going to stay?
I think Dwayne Wade is definitely going to stay in Miami.
And so then Hassan Whiteside is out.
So I think they should make the trade for Dwight Howard.
And make it soon before Dwayne Wade starts asking for more money.
All right. Thank you for tuning in to the Ballers NBA Talk, Episode 6. And, executive producer Thomas Teaspoon Gate, any last words?
This was a good episode. I'm looking forward to doing some more with you guys.
More future endeavors in the future. And thank you for tuning in to the Ballers NBA Talk, Episode 6. And we'll catch you next time with a pod sometime next week.